Have you ever actually contemplated what it would have been like to immigrate here on a boat from Europe? My grandmother came over when she was 21. She turned 21 on the boat ride over from Italy. And her dad's papers were the only way for her to come in, but she had turned 21 on the boat ride over. And they almost didn't let her in. And I think about who I'd be and where I'd be if these things didn't happen. My grandmother immigrated here. My grandfather immigrated here. They landed in a little poor town on the south side of Chicago. My grandmother went on to have 3 sons and a daughter. My dad was the son of an immigrant family, and he was meant to do big things. My dad's uncles were all electricians, so my dad became an electrician. But he didn't want to be an electrician forever. And if he was going to be an electrician, he was going to do it his way, the entrepreneurial way. So when my mom and dad met in a little newspaper clipping for a ski club on the south side of Chicago, they met and married and left in a Winnebago, away from their immigrant family, literally never to go back. Not to live anyway, we have a lot of family there, and we've spent a lot of time in Chicago, but my dad left intentionally. He wanted to own his own business, and that would have never happened with the unions in Chicago. And they bought a Winnebago, and their friends bought a Winnebago, and they sold everything they owned at 22 and 25 to go west. They thought they'd go to Salt Lake City. They ended up in a little ski town where they heard was work, before cell phones and like any real reliable source of communication, they heard there was work in a little ski town called Steamboat Springs, Colorado. And I remind you, in the fall of 1969 when they got there, the mountain had only been open 1 season before that. So it was a tiny little ski town. Billy the Kid and the old guard was there, all of the people who defined that little ski town, including my mom and dad. And in spring of 1970, they owned this little Winnebago, and they parked it down by the river, literally down by the river. My dad, as it turned out, there wasn't work as an electrician, there was work digging ditches. So he did that. And my mom worked at the tennis center, and they bought a little condo, $25,000 condo facing the ski mountain. And they still own that condo today. It's a symbol in our family of their journey, their trek away from their immigrant family to this tiny place on earth where it snowed a lot. My mom had 3 small children. She jokingly says there was no Walmart, no McDonald's, there was no place to go with little kids. And at the end of a ski season, the way they would dig their driveway out, there would be these walls of snow. And she said, "I'm leaving. You're either coming with me, or I don't know, but I'm leaving." And so my dad and mom left Chicago in left Steamboat Springs, in 1983, and ended up in Denver in a bad real estate experience, in one of the worst real estate markets on record in America. In the mid-'80s, interest rates were at 17%. They got a 12% adjustable rate mortgage and thought they died and went to heaven, and they bought a house that they went on to live in for 38 years, my family home, the home my parents raised my brothers and I in. And at that time, my dad looked at my mom and said, "Sue, you should go into real estate." And she said, "You go into real estate." And that's just what he did. I'm a 2nd-generation real estate agent and a 2nd-generation Italian immigrant. And I think about how grateful I am for the opportunities that all of those little journeys have come to bring me and my family to where we are today. I got into the business at a time where the market was very good. Everything I know in real estate I learned from my dad. He's a wonderful man. He's a wonderful man. He calls everybody he knows on their birthday. 90 birthday calls a week he makes. He calls everybody he knows on their wedding anniversary and their home anniversary, and this I learned from him. Dare you give me your birthday? You might hear from me. And what I learned from my dad in those early years when I joined him in real estate is that this isn't anything but a people business. This is a business that is focused around their life, their needs and desires, their wants, their wishes. These are dreams. My business today is called DeVito Dreammakers, and to honor both my Italian last name and our migration here, the desire that people come into real estate to fulfill their dreams, and then I am the guide, the super servant that gets to bring them to a place where they get to buy a home, and it's a really wonderful, unbelievably wonderful thing. And I feel very honored to be running the business I'm running today. This is my 18th year in the business. I was a precocious little girl. I had my very first business of foot massaging. I had a little trunk, and there was quarters in it and a bottle of Lubriderm, and anybody who needed their foot rubbed, I would make money. Mostly my aunts and my uncles and the neighbors, passers-by, my brothers. And that was just who I was. Just had an entrepreneurial heart. I think my dad knew I'd be in real estate before I knew I'd be in real estate. My mom and dad neither graduated from college. In fact, nobody in my family before my brothers and my cousins and I went to college. But I have 16 first cousins, all of whom are college educated. And my family was really, really pressing for us to get a college education. And I was too busy for that. So my dad said, go do anything. I almost don't care what you do, just go to school. And I got a degree in fashion. You see how that's working out for me today. So I went to CSU, I got a degree in fashion, and I came back to Denver to work for a small advertising agency called the Integer Group in Golden. And there were girls sitting in the cubicles that I was working next to who were making 30 grand a year in advertising. And my dad said, you can always get your real estate license and come join me in the business. And that is just what I did. So the day I graduated from college was the same day I got past my real estate exam, my test. And so now I am here living this beautiful immigrant life with this immigrant edge here in this beautiful life. I am so grateful, and thank you for letting me share my story.
Unflappable.
All right. Center. Radiation. Center. Powerful. Honey. Responsive. Ready for growth. Engaging. Generous.
Engaging. Warm.
Storytelling. Natural.
Centered. Appreciative.
Sweet. Smart.
Loving.
Savvy. Leader.
Savvy.
Savvy. Grateful.
Badass.